On this episode of Crypto Talk, St. Louis Federal Reserve says Bitcoin is like regular currency, and Mt. Gox is still dumping Bitcoin in rehab, but that's good news for the creditors. All that plus the state of the market on this episode of Crypto Talk by Crypto Watch.
Down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God, and He on my side. That's the confidence I got, 'cause He got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. That's all you got. Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power.
Alright, so we're back, and from the last time we did the update, doesn't seem like anything helped because the market is dying right now. It's in a big dive. I mean, it's good for people who want to buy in, but I don't know. Let's get the perspective on somebody who was watching from the outside in. Mr. Sir Rick Rock, what's up, man? How's it going?
What's up with the Sky Vision? What's up, crypto junkies, crypto news? This is Sir Rick Rocks just coming back, doing another update episode. I don't know.
It's episode 7 now.
7.
Yeah.
Woo.
Almost
double digits.
We'll see what happens in double digits.
Yeah. But if you notice, the market is taking a little notice of a dive there. Maybe you're looking at I think a lot of people just either tethering it, just hanging out for a little bit, checking to see where it's at, maybe cashing out and so on. But what's your opinion on it? I feel like we were in maybe a huge bear trap. It's coming back down, but I think it's a good thing because now you have all the big whales taking all their money out. Okay, let's take it out already. Let's have a fresh start, a reset, and let's go back up again. Which I think everyone's excited about, in my opinion.
So how true do you think that is about the big whales taking it out with the in lieu of institutional money coming in? You think that's a big I don't know. You think that's going to be true, and that's kind of what they're waiting for, or that's kind of what the manipulation of the market might be?
Maybe. Well, you have a lot of things that's kind of happening, right? You have that. You have we talked about Wall Street and guys ready to go and jump in the market, Goldman Sachs, different exchanges, and so on. Does that make sense? Dropping the price, or maybe everyone cashing out to have a reset again? I think it makes sense, and I think that's what's gonna have the pump. And we're gonna have another pump by the end of the year. I'm not sure we hit 20,000, but hey, if it does, great.
That's interesting. Now, do you think everybody's like cashing out, dumping out, or it really is with Tether? Because that kind of reminds me of the Tether's story about how that was helping manipulate the price of Bitcoin. Remember that one? I think it came out about last week. Last week that they're kind of finding I don't know, kind of like what goes hand in hand with what Tether was doing. Kind of still going through what on Go Rick Rock.
So let's talk about state of the market, Sky Vision. Right now I'm looking at the actual total market cap space is $253 billion. When we started the show, I think we were in the 400s, and then we're in the 300s, going back up, go back down. We're kind of used to this market already. What's your opinion on it? You think a lot of people are taking out their money? You think different exchanges, you have regulatory maybe impacting the price, or just different things at the same time?
So
what's your opinion?
I really thought, let's go to the regulatory part. It seems like it would have been good news, but it seems like nothing. That's not helping out at all because it's a big dive. I got my microcoin cap in the back here, and all day. I mean, it really was today. It did take a few days, but man, Bitcoin is just barely above 6,000, and they can't even mention Litecoin. That thing's at $89. $82 now. I mean,
so special.
I mean, I guess you could buy in. I mean, it's a good time if you want to. But I don't know. Hopefully, that's not a bad sign of Litecoin. But I don't think it is because I know we have a story later on about that. But I don't know. I think it's like you were saying. Are people really dumping their money in lieu of institutional money that everybody's waiting to come in. But of course, they're not going to come in until regulation is kind of got to set their foot down and kind of put some real laws, some real regulation. But we kind of don't want the regulation, and now them saying, at least part of the SEC, not defining Bitcoin and Ethereum as securities. Where does that leave that? And then on the whole other side of the whole Ripple thing, that being called a currency by the U.S. Treasury. So that's, it kind of does leave things in the air, and what the market's doing comes again to what I'm asking, like, what's the correlation between what the news is and what the projects do to the coin itself, or the token. So I don't know. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. I guess that's what everybody's doing. But I don't know. The rumors probably could be true. Institutionals waiting to come in, and that can only be good. I think for consumers.
I think it is, and I think everyone, like all of us, are feeling or thinking, "Hey, what's going on?" And I think that's why a lot of people are parking their money in Tether. You have also the regulatory. You have institutional maybe right now getting investigated and so on, just to make sure they're running their exchange correctly, and they are getting audited. Maybe that's also impacting the exchanges and the market, and so on. And one of the stories that we have also, right, we're going to talk about in a little bit, maybe covers a little bit about it, but maybe I think it's a lot of different things. But there's two sides of the story. You have one, the price is going down, right? And then you have two, big companies are trying to roll in, and then you're talking about one of the stories, I guess you mentioned at the intro, you have the St. Louis Federal Reserve, which we'll also talk about in a bit. But, there's two sides of the story. Which one are we going to go ahead and look at? Yes, we're noticing the price drop down, but then we also see these big boys waiting on the silence again, maybe waiting for the right moment to buy it, and maybe it does go even lower, because now you're waiting for the big whales to cash out. We have the resistance kind of settled in, and let's go ahead and do that, and maybe that's what everyone's waiting for.
On Bitcoin, like it was very early on this year, when it hit 5,000, which it kind of just went there real fast and came back up. Right now, it's like we're slowly seeing it head towards that trend. You think that's kind of where, as far as the market concerned, is it going to test that level on the Bitcoin?
We're not financial advisors. This is just our opinion. Good. That was a great question. Great question. I think we covered this in one of the shows. It's interesting how the volume. I mean, it's the value goes all the way to 10,000, then 8,000, 6,000, back to 7,000, but the volume is not really there, right? And so that's assuming where we have big whales pumping up the price, and so on, and then having us get stuck there at that resistance there. So now we're looking at all those people taking out their money out, and don't be surprised if Bitcoin goes down to 4,800 or 4,500, which is a big rumor. Not just now, but if you looked at the beginning of the year, they also said, hey, it's going to go down to 5,000 and so on, which a lot of the community already kind of knows that. If you're a newbie, you might not know that that's going on. So that's why you want to do your own research, and it's a daily thing. Keep an eye on your investment at all time, and again, make the decision long term or short term. Who are you and why are you in this
all right.
And this
do you think this guy's going to continue all day, or do you think we might see an upside soon? At least now that the weekend's here.
Well, the pattern. Remember, I think we talked about it also. Patterns, weekends usually as a dive, and then Monday blues. Sometimes you can see Monday blues, like everyone does not really want to do anything, and then you see like a little more action throughout the week and so on. Those are patterns you might want to follow that we've noticed in the market. Beginning of the year, summer, December is pump fest. So you want to look at stuff like that. But again, we're not financial advisors. We're just going to we look at patterns.
We're providing for you.
Having fun with it.
Your own research. Look at the market cap. Doesn't look Doesn't look good for
Yeah.
people have money in it now, but
Yeah.
it's good to buy right now. It seems like it. I would. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And again, you gotta know why you're in the space. Again, if you're in it for the long term, you know, you want to make that judgment in 5 years, 10 years. If you're on it for a quick buck, then you gotta be it's like flipping houses. You know, you gotta know when
Well,
to
I
buy and
think
when to sell.
let's move on to some stories now. What's been going on this week, and see if we
Okay.
make some correlations, or what's it called? Find some patterns in this and what's going on now. I'll edit some of this.
Right.
All right,
No, no, yeah.
I'm gonna stop it just to replay it, and
Okay.
then we'll do the second half right now. All right, so here's the first story, and this has to do with Mount Gox, right? It's still they're still finding a way to give everybody back their money, but it looks like they're giving it back in currency, huh, Mr. Sir Rick Rock?
Yeah, yeah. It was good news for the creditors, you could kind of say. So they went through court instead of going through a BK, and actually, well, if they would have gone through with the BK, they would have paid back. They would have given back the money, but what Bitcoin was worth in 2014. So if they would have done that, I think one of these stories, I have two of them up. I think this one's it. It would have given. Oh no, not this one here. This one here. Same story, but isn't. They would have given back, I think, approximately, it was going to be worth $480. So if the bankruptcy would have gone through, they would have given back Mt. Gox, the BTC back. But what BTC was going to be worth, it was going to be $480.
And that's 2014 price.
Yeah, 2014 price. So what the courts did, they approved a petition to go into rehab. So the good news about that is instead of basically paying back everyone in fiat that was worth $480, they're gonna go ahead and pay them back in crypto, which is gonna be now the value as we have it today, which is really good news for them. Which, if you really think about it, these exchanges, it looks like they're actually trying to. If anything happens, they try to fix the problem and not just get up and go, which I kind of like about that.
That sounds very good. That they didn't try to just, especially with all the bad rap that they got over this for a couple of years now. It seems
Yeah.
it's pretty good that they're trying to settle the score in a good way. Right.
Yeah, and what's good news about it is because if they would have paid back the Bitcoin when it was worth in 2014, and since I already gained value, the owner of Mt. Gox would have got the difference. And he was the one that's saying, hey, I don't want that. I want to go ahead and pay back everybody their currency, and that's what basically what ended up happening. And they approved the petition. What's cool about it is they start giving you steps here, what's going to end up happening there. Which again, we have another exchange getting into trouble. But the good thing about it is they're fixing the situation and trying to make everybody happy.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's good news. Did it mention anything about what the cops, I guess, what they confiscated as far as Bitcoin?
The stories didn't mention that. It didn't. But now that I'm thinking about what we're talking about earlier about the market, this might have been one other, maybe helped out the market kind of drop. The reason why, because what he was doing.
Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, so you were saying that the owner was trying to do, or you mean the trustees?
Yes, correction. So the trustee was like right here, it gives you instructions here. The steps, what's going to go on. So the trustee is not going to sell any more BTC, and the reason why they're doing that is to basically pay back the creditors back their currency. If you notice the price drop, there's rumor that this also was impacting the price of Bitcoin as well, because they were selling off, all kinds of Bitcoins, and to pay off everybody else that was kind of waiting for their money, which I thought was a great idea that they did that. Now, if you notice the steps here, what's going to end up going on, which is again, we have another exchange trying to clean up their situation. and hopefully everything starts improving.
Well, yeah, that sounds good. I know when those all the people get their coin back, what are they going to do with it? I guess there's
Probably put it back in. Probably put it back in. They're like,
if they have
okay,
a
did we make
massive
some money?
cash out, isn't that going to kind of deter the market again, or maybe that's kind of what's happening already? Or you think that most people will stay in it, or are they scared?
Yeah.
You think the
No,
FOMO will
we
kick in
don't.
full gear now, since they actually really thought they lost it, but now they have it back?
Yeah. And either they might dive in or they're going to cash out, which might also impact the price as well. Mm-hmm. And because they're like, hey, I got into this situation and my money was locked in, and now they're actually giving it back, and do I go back again? You have a satisfied or unsatisfied customer, and they have their matter of opinion if they're coming back or not at the end of the day, which is again, and that's them,
Just hand it to you.
I think I would go ahead and just park it, maybe, or continue to ride the wave. I bought it. Yeah. It was bought at $480, or maybe a lot cheaper than that. So
that kind of reminds me. I did know somebody back in 2013, before the Mt. Gox happened, that actually had Bitcoin. I think at that point, before 2014, it was about $300, and I know they had a few of them. I don't know what happened or where they're at now, but it'll be nice to have one in at that time.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if you have those individuals that bought that currency during that price, how early did they buy it?
Like $100.
I think they might have wanted, or maybe a lot cheaper. And maybe if they already banked, they want to cash out, and of course the price is going to. How many people is that? And so on. So which is again, it's good news. We know the price is going down, but again, we have another I think good story that this exchange is giving, trying to help out and give everybody their money back, and that's why you notice this big news that ends a Bitcoin sell-off.
Key point right there.
Which is pretty cool.
Ends the sell-off. Okay.
Yeah, and it's big. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So hopefully maybe they'll stop the bleeding. No, not stop the bleeding, but help and put little Band-Aid on the wound, and so on. But another good story that we have is again Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, and we talk about the price going down. Right now, it's for the record is $6,059.98. The lowest has gone is $59. I mean, $5,923. But we also have a good story.
Real quick, when did it hit that low? So yeah.
I'm assuming
sometime
today.
Maybe in the last couple hours, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming that. Yeah. So this is the 24 timer. So it went from the highest and the lowest. But what good news about Goldman Sachs, again, we talked about them opening their own department and attached to Circle. And now they're kind of coming out and saying, hey, we're actually listening to our customers about maybe actually not just trading futures, but also exchanging crypto, which I thought it was pretty cool. Which again, if they don't want to lose customers, they want to go ahead and retain their customers. So they're going to hear what they're talking about, and again, because you don't want your customers to go ahead and get up and leave, and then do business somewhere else where they have that access or want to go into that space again. Which is, I thought it was really, really good news about it, which it attaches to this story here, which you have. This is Lloyd Blankfein, which is the CEO of Goldman Sachs. Which he had an interview the other day, and he starts comparing. They ask him questions about Bitcoin and all that. And he's like, saying, you know what? There's really no difference between fiat and crypto, which I thought it was pretty exciting news, because he's going to give up the office in December. So is he going to retire, or is he going to be just another body going into the space again? Which you see a lot of people just quitting, jumping in.
Something to do with the Circle project, and maybe move on to that, because we see that a lot. Once institution buys something, they'll have a group that sort of they create another, I don't know, like a committee that takes over their new project, right? Something like that. Well, that's good, yeah, because that
Yeah.
what he said was all over. That was, you could visit any crypto website or article that you saw on Bitcoinist or what is it, CoinDesk. Everybody had what his quotes are. They're almost Warren Buffett like
Yeah.
statements, but in the positive sense.
And what it says right here, if you could go through the fiat currency where they say this is worth what it's worth because the government says so, why couldn't you have a consensus currency? So the way he talks about it, he says is that he doesn't have any, he doesn't own any, but he just basically is saying, hey, it doesn't make sense you thinking it's not gonna have a role in this market, which also attaches another story that I like. We have St. Louis Federal Reserve. Well, here he is again. Wait, that's not the story. This is a story that I wanted to kind of bring up. U.S. Federal Reserve launches cryptocurrency, which ends up happening. The St. Louis Federal Reserve added cryptocurrency to the Thread database. So what Thread database keeps track of different kind of assets and so on. So they actually added and are keeping an eye on cryptocurrency. You know, a couple of cryptocurrency they added was, you know, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and I believe the last one was Ethereum. Like the majors, which is pretty cool. Again, adding that and they're keeping an eye on it. And they're all, you know, they haven't said they came out there for it, but they always talk good about crypto, which is again it's the St. Louis Federal Reserve. And so again, they're going to compare it to
they're just keeping track of it. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Good. Yeah, they're keeping track of it, what it does, and so on. Which again, it looks like the profile in it. And what's good about it is, if you notice, well, if you read this part here, it says the St. Louis Fed is one of 12 region banks within the system, collectively constituting the most powerful central bank of the globe, known to be part of the 8th district, which includes Midwestern Fed banks. It also considers an economical research powerhouse. So they have, you know, they're pretty strong, you know, if you really look at it. And what's cool about it, and another story that I don't think we covered, but I wanted to revisit, it's also them talking about Bitcoin, and it's like a regular currency. There was a quote here that I like, that they talked about, you know, again, and they basically they're saying, hey, here it goes. I think here it goes. It says Bitcoin units have no instinctive value. Let me see here. The Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis has provided some high-profile validation of the core premises of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. A blog post posted this week based on early federal research paper said that Bitcoin units have no intrinsic value, but added the currency such as US dollar, the euro, and the Swiss franc. Basically what they're saying, hey, they don't have no value either. The only reason why they have the value is because we say it has the value. That's the only reason why fiat, euros, Swiss has the value.
And that's re-emphasizing the old
why
argument.
Why can't we do this to this too as well?
Says, how is Bitcoin worth anything? Most responses were, well, how is a piece of paper worth anything?
Yeah. Yeah, and what he talked about, if Lloyd talked about, is we're getting adopted from when it happened back when gold and silver were basically used, and then we came back and exchanged it to actually paper. You know, that's what we're going through, or we're having that feeling like, hey, you're telling me I'm going to give up this metal, which is gold and silver, and you're going to go ahead and give me paper that has some numbers on there, and that's where it comes back to as well, you know. And I like these stories because, you know, we're talking about Goldman Sachs getting, you know, they're basically on the sidelines. So these guys, they don't just dive in on something that they haven't done their research on. You know, most likely they've done their homework and they're hearing their customers and so on. And that's why I think there's going to be good things. I think Goldman Sachs starts exchanging
pretty soon.
In August, I think in August it starts. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty soon. And we'll see what happens. we'll see what happens with the market. And I just know
yeah, it'll be
you
interesting to
guys
watch
have
what
the
Coinbase
market
does.
dropping and
Well,
so
they
on,
already
but
kind
we
of
also
have
have
their
heavy
plans.
hitters coming in the
But yeah,
market.
if Goldman Sachs launches in August with Circle and that exchange, and it's got to be a direct competition to somebody like Coinbase or Binance. And Coinbase already is set to the following month of September to add Ethereum Classic, ETC, Ethereum Classic to their exchange. That's going to be interesting. And Binance already has, they're always adding tokens all the time now. So, I mean, that's going to be kind of a big, I don't know, like power exchange war.
Yeah.
No, it's only good. I mean, hopefully there's some, I don't know, enticing airdrops to get you to use their exchange instead. Airdrops are free tokens, free coins that from time to time projects
maybe
changes.
and
Just hand it over to your wallet, and all of a sudden you have this airdrop. There's some, so what do you say, some prerequisites or circumstances where you would get it, like you probably own a certain coin, but it happens a lot, and it's good.
Yeah. And I want to put back at the story again, and it's another good part of the article that I kind of want to revisit here. Where is it at here? I want to just point out the difference between that right now in fiat, we just go ahead and just that's it, and basically in crypto we basically use computer codes and the developers, and right now we use trust and the government.
And mining.
And crypto uses computer codes and the developers.
So, Sir Rick Rock, so you're coming back in focus here. Anything else we got left? Anything else you want to say on this one? Yep.
No, that's it. I can't wait till we have another episode. That's basically all that I have.
Yeah.
Yes, we have the market going down, but we also have some good stories. Just kind of connect the puzzle together and make your own homework and do your own research. And again, we're not financial advisors. We're just looking out.
Yeah,
and just use.
That's right.
It's fun for us.
See what blockchain does in the future. Too bad.
We're in it for the technology, right?
What's going on with the market. But anyway, so that's it for Crypto Talk by Crypto Watch. We'll see you next time. You want to say your outro, Mr. Rick Rock? All
right. Catch you later, crypto news and crypto junkies. Again, this is Rick Rock. This is Crypto Watch, Crypto Live, Crypto